Hey everybody, welcome back to Black Arrow Collectibles. I know a lot of us are getting graded cards right now. PSA is having a massive, massive boom. I thought it would be a good time to share an educational video on how to tell if a card is legitimate, if a card has been faked, or if it's a proxy card. Really how you can guess and check on a PSA card if you're out on the fly doing a trade, something like that. Some of these measures are going to show up really well on camera. Some of them are not. But at least if you get a couple of these checks checked off, they're very hard to fudge, very hard to fake. There's a good indication that your card is real. So the first one that you can get real quick right off the bat is when you pick up a PSA card, on the butt of the card here, you can run your finger over it. There's a little nub right there. That's actually the injection mold site right there. So that's a pretty easy, good indication. That's actually the only spot around a PSA card that has any sort of texture. All the outsides should be clear and smooth as glass. So that's number one. Number two, this one's a really easy one. I carry around a black light when I go to conventions, when I go to expos, when I go to trades. All new PSA cards, at least for the last, I don't know, the last 8, 9, 10 years or so, they've been using what's called fugitive ink. They have a couple of different uses for it, but the biggest thing is it shows up on a black light now. So there's a couple of spots that if you shine a black light on the label on the front and on the label on the back, you can actually get images to show up that you can't see typically with the naked eye. They are not going to show up very well here. I'm going to kind of point out, so all along this top area right below the red border, there's actually, let's see, I can see it here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's going to be 20 different versions that PSA is written. They're all in different sizes. They're all in different fonts. Some of them are flipped upside down. Some of them are flipped right side up. If your card has that PSA labeling all written across the top, good indication that it's a real label. Because not everybody's just swapping out the cases and swapping out the cards. Some people might have a legitimate card in a legitimate case, but they replace the label. Somebody's got an 8 and they want to make it a 10, they can do that. Somebody's got a 3 and they want to make it a 1, because ones are moving right now. They can do that. All right, what else we got? This PSA logo right here. We're going to see if we can get this to show up on my jeweler's loop here. Carry around a jeweler's loop to all these shows as well. So in this foil, and there we go, you can see it right there. You've got the PSA logo written quite a few times all across the foil. It shows up really, really well with a black light. You really have to shine it and magnify it to get it to show up without it. That's what that looks like. And then when we flip over the card, we've got a couple of other similar things that we can do with the jeweler's loop here. Once again, it shows up really well with a black light, but black light on this camera just completely blind, so it's not happening. So we take our jeweler's loop again. If we go to the top, the big foil PSA, right there you can see PSA, 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 6 PSAs written on the top and bottom, right here and right here. These you can see pretty well with the naked eye, just by shaking it around. And last but not least, just like the foil in the front, the foil on the back, we have a similar result here. Let me tilt this a little bit. Should be able to get it. There you go. You see a handful right there. All those PSAs on the left side. That's what you're looking for. There's a couple other checks that you can do. This white labeling, they actually have a wave design all throughout the white labeling. See, it almost looks like a fingerprint, waving fingerprint going through the white label. It shouldn't be straight. It should be wavy. It should cut across all the letters and all across the label. All these are good ways to check to make sure that a label hasn't been messed with. The label hasn't been changed. And then there's some standard things, obviously spacing. If it doesn't look right, it's probably not right. It might not be worth the risk. You can tag in somebody who maybe has more experience. You can take your card to a different table. You can call somebody over who sells cards and say, hey, do you have a lot of knowledge with these PSA cards. Can you take a look at this? Just like if you were buying a car and you were going to go talk to a mechanic, have it driven out. So other things, you can look at spacing. Obviously, if the spacing looks funky, could be funky. These are all evenly spaced all the way across. 10 is spaced, good spacing here, good spacing here. We've got a QR code that scans, but a lot of people can use fake QR codes and have them linked up to correct cards. Same thing with numbers. You'll notice that a lot of people on eBay, a lot of people on Facebook Marketplace, they're actually blocking out numbers right now so that people can't use them to generate fake labels. What else we got? There's a couple that have changed over the years. Once again, if we go back to our loop here and you look at the inside corner, that should be a perfect right angle. That's a complete 90-degree angle right there. And the indents, the actual holders of the card, they used to use slanted ones. They're not using all slanted ones now. So like that is a right angle there on the tip. Well, the other ones, they've got a little bit of on the inside, a curvature to it. You can probably see it right there. It's almost like a nail point going right to that edge. That little curve is a giveaway that it should be a legitimate card. So once again, smooth all across the outside, injection mold. You're looking for PSA writing in the foil. You're looking for black light writing across the bottom red. You're looking for PSA writing in the foil, PSA writing around PSA. You're looking for things like the QR code to actually work and go to a site. You're looking at things like the cornering. Make sure that this is straight. Make sure that the frosted glass doesn't start until outside the card. Couple of tricks, couple of good ways that you can check to see if the card is real. Quickest way, check for the injection mold. Bring a black light with you if you plan on going to buy a whole bunch of graded cards. Definitely a good idea.